Hey everybody, it's your boy Jay, and in this video we're gonna dive into options. So I want to make some more videos on options, pretty much like the basics, because I'm getting a lot of questions since most of the content I'm posting now has to do with options, because that's what I'm mostly trading these days. And so I just want to do like a beginner series type thing to give you guys, the beginner information, the very basics that you need to get started when trading options, because it could be a very profitable trading strategy that you could add to your portfolio or tool belt. So first things first, what are options? Well, options are contracts that give you the right to either buy or sell stock. So for example, one options contract controls 100 shares of stock. So there's got to be an underlying product. Like in this case, I'm only trading stock options. So the underlying product's always going to be a stock, like Apple, Microsoft, Netflix, Tesla. Those are all stocks, and we can trade options on those stocks. Got it? So an options contract is basically an agreement between a buyer and seller that gives the buyer the right, or seller the right, to buy or sell that stock at an agreed upon price at an expiration date, at an agreed upon date. So yeah, options contracts, they represent 100 shares of stock per contract. So one options contract controls 100 shares of stock. Now let's get into what happens like if you exercise a contract. Well, let's say you have Apple. Let's say you have an Apple 100 call, and the price of Apple at expiration, let's just call it September 4th, this Friday. Let's just say at expiration, Apple's trading around $150. Well, guess what? I have the right to buy 100 shares of Apple because I own that 100 call. And we're going to get into a little more details on calls versus puts in a little bit, but that's just an example. All right, so basically, with options, you're controlling more shares with less capital. So if you bought 100 shares of Apple at $100, that's 10 grand. If you bought one of the contracts, it might go for anywhere like $500 to $1,000, maybe cheaper. We'll take a look at what the 100 calls are at right now. But options, there's less capital that you need up front in order to control all of these stocks, all of these shares. So that's why options are that's why the options price fluctuate a lot, because people, there's more value when you're holding a contract that's giving you the ability to buy 100 shares of Apple at $100 when the price of the Apple stock is already up to like 150. So you see why you'd rather put yourself in this situation. Would you rather buy Apple at $150, or would you rather buy Apple at $100? Chances are you'd rather buy it lower at $100. So that contract price, that's why it rises so much in value, because there's profit attached to it. You want to own the 100 shares of Apple at $100 because why would you want it at $150? So there's profits attached to these contracts, and that's why they go for some money. And yeah, so now let's talk about calls versus puts. So we got the basics of options out the way. We know what options contracts are and why we would use them. So calls versus puts. Calls are when you're long. Simple as that. When you're buying a stock, you're long. You think it's going up because you're bullish. You want price to go up in value, right? So calls, you're long. Put is when you're short. Now, when I got into options, I thought since I am selling something that I have to sell the puts. No, don't do that. That's not what you're supposed to do, and that will get you hurt if you do it at the wrong time. But selling puts just gives you massive exposure, and you don't want that. When you go to short, you buy the put. Buying the put still means you're short and bearish. I know for most people that are like futures traders or forex traders getting into options, you're used to selling something when you think it's going down. or even when you're just trading regular equity stocks. When you go to short something, you just click the sell button. Don't do that with options. Don't short puts. That's a strategy, for advanced options traders, but for now, you don't want to short puts. So when you're long, you're going to, you want calls, right? You want to buy calls. And when you're short, you want to buy puts. Calls give you the right to buy 100 shares of stock at a specific price. So your strike price at an expiration date, a specific date. And again, calls profit when the stock goes up. So for example, let's use Apple again. Apple 100 calls. That's the given price, right? $100. And the expiration is September 4th. All right. That's the specific date that these contracts will expire. So let's say Apple's at $90 on September 4th. Those contracts you bought are going to expire worth $0. But let's just say Apple's at $200 on September 4th. You have the right to 100 shares of Apple at $100 because you own this contract, this 100 call of Apple. Okay? So that's why these contracts, like I said before, that's why they're so valuable, or that's why they, go up in value so quickly. And you see, crazy percent gains on options because there's intrinsic value with those contracts that are in the money, like the $100 calls, and let's say price is at $200. That's a lot of money. So basically you're making $100 per share. So yeah, now puts, they give you the right to sell 100 shares of stock at a given price at a given date. So on the flip side, let's say we bought the Apple 100 puts that expire September 4th. Again, this is your strike price. This is your expiration date. And even if Apple is at $50 on September 4th, you have the right to sell 100 shares of Apple at $100 still. So let's just say Apple's at $120 on September 4th. Well, you lost money on those contracts because they're worth $0. Because the price of Apple is above 100. And when you're buying puts, you want price to be below your strike price. So you profit when the stock goes down. Okay? So that's just the basics. I'm going to do more of these beginner-friendly videos. But that's pretty much what options are and the difference between calls and puts. So if you're long, if you think the stock is going up, you buy calls. If you think the stock's going down, you buy puts. And we're going to talk about in the next couple videos that I put out, we're going to talk about different strike prices. What strikes do you want to pick, and what strikes should you look for, whether you're day trading, swing trading, or whatever. We're going to talk about that in the upcoming free videos on this channel. But if you want a deeper dive into options, I put together a whole course, and the link to that is down below. The price will go up soon as more members come in because you're getting access to watch me trade live every morning. And I show you, the positions I'm in, how I'm managing them, and what have you. And you get access to the chat room where you could ask me whatever you want. And there's pretty much just a whole lot of lessons on options and exactly everything I've learned over the past few years trading options. So, and what makes me money. So I don't want to put random information out there into the course. I only put the things that are actually making me money and the things that I used. So that's it, guys. If you want access to the course, click down below. I'm going to be putting out more free options knowledge onto this YouTube channel. So make sure you hit the thumbs up if you like this, if you learned something, and subscribe to the channel. Click that subscribe button for me. And if you got any questions, put it in the comments. I read all the comments. And if you have any requests for next videos, put it in the comments. But yeah, that's it. Pretty much it, guys. I'll see you guys on the next video. And yeah, I'm signing out. Good luck on your options journey. I'm here to help you. Peace.